Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you like to set goals for yourself, our next guest says you may be doing it all wrong and she has a better way. We welcome back the author of All the Things I Wish I Knew, Master Life Coach Sarah Centrella. Good to have you back again, Sarah.
So great to see you again, Helen. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get right to it because I think a lot of us have goals or actually don't know if we do have goals. We just kind of go along with life, right? The first thing you say is you got to think about what it is you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've identified something that you want, a goal that you want, whether it is in your career, personal, finance, things like that, then you really have to think about, why do I want it?
Why?
So a lot of people are setting very arbitrary goals. In other words, I want to make X amount of money by a specific date. So those are the two kind of ways that people will typically write or make goals. And the problem with that is it can be really demotivating as that time clock starts ticking down. You're getting closer and closer. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't have half the money I thought I was going to make by then, or I'm not nearly as close to my goal as I thought I'd be by this time. And so then a lot of times we'll just give up. We'll like, well, what's the point? I'm not going to make up the time, so it winds up being this dead weight almost, very demotivating. So instead, think about, okay, why do I want that? Why do I want to hit that next promotion or get that amount of money? Why is that so important to me? Does that mean that I could then take my family on vacation? Does that mean that I can do something I would not be able to do otherwise? So once I start to get that emotional connection, all of a sudden I'm much more motivated to want to go after it.
Okay.
And then after that, once you can, think about, okay, what's my why? Then ask yourself, like, how does that change my life, my family's life? What's the impact?
Once you get it, how will things change when I achieve it?
What's the impact on my life?
Okay.
What does it really matter?
Give me an example, like if you make a certain amount of money and that's your goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
How will that change my life?
So something I hear people say all the time is, I want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like the generic, right? They'll say, I want to make $1 million by 2 years from now or something. And the first thing I'll say is, A, why $1 million? Again, why the arbitrary number? Think instead, if that was an annual number that I had, how much would my life change?
Right.
Could my kids go to a different school? Would I be able to, vacation a couple times a year versus once every 5 years? So as soon as you start to think of those things, then you can actually start manifesting those things a lot faster, and you're not locking yourself down by that arbitrary number.
You also say that, who do I want to achieve this for? Because some people are doing it for somebody else.
Absolutely. Think about, again, that impact on, if you're a parent, how does that impact your children? How does it impact them maybe for generations? So a lot of times when we want to achieve a goal, it isn't just for us. I mean, definitely set goals and achieve them for yourself too, but a lot of times those will impact other people in our life, and that can tap into a whole nother layer of motivation for you as well.
Okay. Give me an example of a goal.
Oh, there's so many.
Like which one? Was there one that you did?
Oh, running the Portland Marathon was a big one, I think.
Yeah.
I did that in 2015. And absolutely my why was the reason I wanted to cross the finish line and see my children with their little signs saying I did it. So that was one of those visuals that talk about kind of that next step is visualizing what it will be like when you're actually achieving the goal or the moment or the experience that you want. So when you can kind of go right to that, it just helps propel. And I did it with writing my books, as someone who was not a published author before my first book came out. I had to visualize those moments of after all the work is paid off, how is that going to change my life?
Also, the identifying the stepping stones, because the stepping stones, like with a marathon, it's training.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that a lot of people won't do. So then they're really frustrated because the end goal seems so far away from where they are today. And it's easy to say, well, I don't know where to go and I don't know how to start. So just identify 3 to 5 different things that have to happen before you get to that spot where you're living the experience or the achievement. And you can always pick them out. So again, like you said, with the marathon, it's training. I have to first be able to run a 10-miler before I can run a 26, right? So the more that you kind of identify those things, then you're getting big wins on the journey to the final win, and it's so much more rewarding.
Let's say the goal is a kind of a tough one here, buy a house.
Yeah, that is a great one. So same thing. You can look at like, okay, well, what do I need to do for my credit? Talk to a professional, get an analysis, get a plan together so you could see maybe in the next 2 years, these are the 3 things I need to do to get that together.
Right.
So there's always a way to kind of break it down into those stepping stones. They're just a much more kind of motivating way for me to say, hey, if I can cross these off, I am making progress
Right.
towards my ultimate goal.
Do you see, though, do you have some clients who say, you know, I don't think I can do those stepping stones? Because a lot of us are not about the process. We're about
Yeah.
the end result, right? Yes,
Yeah.
I want that goal, but I am not ready to go through that process of getting
Yeah.
up early in the morning and, you know, getting those,
Putting the work in.
putting the work in.
Yeah. You know, oddly enough, I find that once people know kind of what to do, most people will want, again, if they have the why, right? If they're excited enough by, wow, this is really going to change my life and this is the impact, they just most of the time didn't know what the stepping stones were, and
Right.
so didn't know how to kind of get going. But once they do, that starts to feed your dream and your desire right there.
Right.
The more that I'm in it, getting my hands dirty, doing the thing, the more excited I get about it,
Right.
and the more I can actually visualize it happening. And once
Yeah.
that starts, you know, kind of kicking in, then you're on fire.
I would think, too, that if you kind of connect yourself with other people who have achieved that same goal,
Yeah.
starting from the same place you did,
Absolutely.
that would be really motivating.
Absolutely. Surround yourself with people who raise you higher. And you can
Right.
do that by even following people who, like you said, have done it before you,
Right.
who are motivating you. So it doesn't
Someone
have
who's
to be
written a
someone
book
you know.
before who
Yeah.
can relate to it's not that easy, but here's
Yep.
a helpful tip. Someone who's run a marathon before. Here
Exactly.
you go, you can do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, whatever you focus on is what you bring into your life.
Yeah.
So if you're telling yourself I can do it, and you're visualizing it, and you're getting excited about it, you're going to be that much more likely
Absolutely.
to achieve it.
All good tips. Thank you so much. We
Yeah.
want to tell everyone that again, the book is called All the Things I Wish I Knew. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sarah. I
Helen.
appreciate it. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.